Hi America, this is Fast Track to Fascism. Today's episode is about upholding constitutional oaths.
For those of you that don't know, I'm Heather.
And I'm Christa.
Alright. Tonight we decided to talk about how many people are in our, public offices and public officials and people that work for the public actually uphold their constitutional oaths. And that leads into a lot of what we saw at the RNC and the DNC, and we're just going to start tonight's, this is what inspired us to do this. We saw Ted Nugent on...
Ted Nugent.
Yeah, and he's had a lot of really cool stuff to say, but I think that he really doesn't have a grasp on, like, who they are going to attack, you know?
So fucking what?
Okay, ICP totally is not that great. But anyways, Ted Nugent is pretty badass, so he's got some really great conservative views that are not, like, neocon views. Anyways, he said on the Alex Jones show on July 30th of this year that 90 to 95% of police and military people will not take the guns away from law-abiding citizens because it's their constitutional right, and they were sworn to uphold the Constitution, and I just put, yeah, right, you know, yeah, fucking right, dude, like, give me a break, don't even tell me that, like, if they're gonna do it in Katrina's aftermath, if they're gonna do it,
Katrina, they confiscated all the guns from law-abiding citizens. It didn't matter, they just took them. They just took all the guns. So you had no right, you had no way to protect yourself, even though there were people looting in the streets.
Like, if they're gonna take away your other constitutional rights, like your First Amendment and your Fourth Amendment and all those other really great ones that they've already violated, like your right to privacy,
why not the second?
Why not the second? Why not the second, especially if it's the one that actually gives us a chance? But then we have to follow through and say that Ted Nugent also said a very, very other great quote that was, you know, what would you do? Alex Jones asked him, what would he do if you know, the government tries to take his guns, and he goes, well, just to let him know, my name is Ted Nugent.
If any government official is listening to this,
my name is Ted Nugent.
And if you come to try and take away my guns, I will shoot you dead.
And we just thought that was great.
I applauded. That was
really
great.
Do. But, you know, I don't think he's really a high profile for a lot of the cronies and stuff and all the crap going on right now. I think that they kind of like Ted Nugent because some of the time the stuff that he says applies to what they think that they're upholding, even though they just say they're doing it and they're not really doing it. So let's go ahead and talk about what do you feel about law enforcement's job? What do you think that what do you think that the Constitution gave them the rights to do?
They gave them rights to put lawbreakers under custody and run Miranda rights, and obviously be treated innocent until proven guilty.
Innocent until proven guilty. That's the topic of another show.
Yeah, that's another show we're gonna do. I don't know when, but soon enough. I think that they also have been given the right to give people the right to a fair trial, and I think that
to not lie about evidence, to tell the truth.
It's definitely to uphold the Constitution.
Yeah.
And
to protect and serve, I believe, is what their thing says.
And many of these men are Christians, and you know the Ten Commandments kind of apply to you if you're a Christian, right? So you know.
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of these people that are Christians that run this country too, but then it just kind of appears like they're hiding behind that. Yeah, they're just hiding behind that, dude. George Carlin, there have been more people killed in the name of God than anything ever in the history of anything. Yeah.
Combined.
Yeah. No diseases, no nothing. It's been religious wars and conflicts over differences. So,
fun.
We also want to say what is public officials, like the people in the courtroom, the people that aren't necessarily law enforcement, the elected officials, the people that you pay through tax dollars to work the system. You know, what do you think about them? Yeah, like, don't you think that they kind of are supposed to lie and to protect the Constitution? I'm pretty sure all these people take oaths to uphold the Constitution.
That President included.
Yeah.
That
goes all the way. I mean, if you're a public official, you are upholding the Constitution, and so we decided to do this show on that.
Of our Constitution. But anyways, what I really want to shout out and say is that we need a uniform call right now. Everyone needs to be saying the same thing so that we get something done. Because if everybody's going, meh, 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 nothing's going to get done, right? So what I say is that we should call for the prosecution of the people who have broken
the law.
Our Constitution. Yeah,
the real law. The real law.
The real law. And, you know, Chelsea Ann, I need you to forward this to your father. please let all law enforcement know that we aren't the enemies here, that the big fat cats that are stealing your money from your children and your wife and you and your family, those are the guys you want to go after.
And then something else we were hearing a lot of too is like, I mean, seriously, you're like you're working for them too, you know, like to all the police officers that are watching this. I mean, think about it. If there are people on your force, or, you know, you sometimes find yourself, you know, thinking that you're doing the right just because you've been told that it's the right, or something like that. I mean, if there's certain situations where I've seen a lot of like tasing and things like that where, damn it, you're not in the right. You're not in the right. Yeah. Illegal searches of people's cars, you're not in the right. Like,
constitutional. I'm sorry. But
you can't just make it up as you go along and then say that it's right. And you can't get it passed through law on a corrupt and fallible system. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting.
You're there to protect us.
To protect and serve.
Protect and serve. You're there as an institution of protection.
Which means when I get a migraine on the side of the road, you don't come over, and when I wave you down, you don't come over
and
arrest me and put me in an ambulance and illegally search my car and then lie about the situation in your report. That is what I'm talking about. When somebody asks you for help and you deliberately make them out to be an evil person, it's absolutely disgusting.
I think that if we have a unified call, that maybe something really possibly could get done. I'm thinking that if all the law enforcement does wake up and realize that they're about to be called to inflict warfare on the American citizens of, you know,
which is not upholding the
Their
Constitution. That's
family,
not
their brethren, their fellow human beings.
If you're doing it to me, you know, someone else, it's your family's probably going to do it to them too. And I hear all day long, oh, my ex-husband used to be a cop, so anytime they pull me over, I just, you know, say, oh, did my ex-husband have you pull me over? And they leave me alone. Like, you shouldn't be able to manipulate the situation like that. It's ridiculous. They shouldn't be able to manipulate the situation either. Like, you can go ahead and get into all the times cops lie in court and all the testimony that they give,
all the police
brutality,
brutality,
all the evidence that
disciplinary
disappears.
Action is taken.
No disciplinary action.
And
less than lethal weapons.
Yeah, less than lethal weapons.
That are lethal. Yeah.
This is not right. This is a call for all the good men and women in uniform.
The real patriots that really are serving the country.
To understand that this is going on. Please understand that this is really happening. Fascism is about to take hold of our precious country. Our precious country.
As Thoreau said, you know, if you're gonna act by the government and give up your right to moral decisions and you just follow protocol and you just do what you're told, which we're gonna lead into something else about that in just a second. Doing what you're told, it makes no difference if you're working for the devil or for God. I mean, at that point, you're just upholding protocol. You're just doing what you're told. And then not only that, you're no longer a man because you are nothing more than an arm of government, which moves as a machine would and does commands what it's told to do, and without any moral thought to yourself. So if you're ever caught in a situation where you are going to take someone's weapons or you are going to illegally search someone's house and you know it, please, God, stop. Don't do this.
Let your God conscience take over and say no, and say to your fellow men and women in uniform, I don't feel right about this.
And then I guess in closing, almost because we're at 9:41.
See if they don't feel right about it. You know, hopefully wake up your brethren.
Well,
but another thing we wanted to touch upon was a study about authority and like saying no to authority, having trouble saying no to authority.
Okay, so with all the wonderful psychology classes that I've gotten to take, and one that's come up a lot is Milgram's experiment with authority and people delivering shock treatment. It's Milgram's shock experiment. If you want to look it up, there's video of it on YouTube, and it shows this man, and you know he's doing the test. It was a test set up where a man in the booth that was getting shocks if he got an answer wrong was an actor, but the experimented person that signed up for the experiment didn't know. So he was always the one delivering the shocks if the person got it wrong. Kept delivering shocks until the person no longer made any noise. After screaming, "Oh God, please let me go, oh God." Then after, several more successions of shocks from getting answers wrong, subject just stops responding, and the person's like, "Oh, I can't do this anymore, I can't do this anymore." And the experimenter says, "Well, you have to for the experiment." and the dude keeps doing it. And he's really disturbed about it, but he keeps doing it. And it's a really interesting study. I urge everyone to look it up. It's very, very great. And also look up the Zimbardo prisoner guard experiment. That is also on YouTube, and it is awesome that we have access to these videos. It's
and
a it's an
name of the first study.
Milgram's shock experiment. Milgram. Yeah, like milgram. Yeah, shock experiment, and then
MIL, right?
yeah, and then Philip Zimbardo, he was a professor at Stanford, I believe, in the 70s, did the prisoner guard experiment, and in that Zimbardo.
Z-E-M.
That was totally proof of what happens when you would, like, if you imprison children, that would be something that you would be concerned about. Please look up those 2 experiments, guys, and we love you. Have a good night.
We love you. See you tomorrow.
Tomorrow.